excuse me, folks, excuse me. We are looking for Brad Henderson and Harley Johnson. If you are Brad Henderson and Harley Johnson, we're going to have you head to the hold tent right over here.
slippery out there.
Yes, it is.
It is. Look at all that.
You ready? Well, good afternoon, everyone. We'll try it one more time. Good afternoon. Awesome. What a great, yes. A truly beautiful, great day to celebrate another monumental step forward for quantum in the state of Illinois. Now, from the earliest days of this pursuit, when I first became governor, we have been guided by a clear vision, making Illinois a global capital for quantum development. And since then, we've brought together partners from across government and research institutions and business and academia, labor, and beyond to help us develop and carry out a strategy to achieve our goal. Today, that vision comes further into focus as we stand here at the site of the future Illinois Quantum and Microelectronics Park. Right here beneath our feet will be a catalyst for a potential revolution in science and technology and the betterment of life for all humankind. We intend to drive innovation on a history-altering scale and provide unprecedented economic opportunity for the people of this great city and state. I'm also very excited to be joined today by some of the brilliant minds that are powering that work, including especially our first anchor tenant of this park, PsiQuantum. PsiQuantum brings years of foundational research and scientific groundwork, a clear and comprehensive business and tech development strategy, and a global reputation as a pioneer in quantum computing applications. With extensive relationships across governments and businesses alike, PsiQuantum understands both the challenges and the opportunities ahead and shares in our vision for quantum as a powerful force for good. I am thrilled to welcome them to Chicago and to have their partnership in the work ahead. Now, the fact that I'm sort of a quantum geek is already well documented, but I want to make sure that I express my gratitude to all who have helped to make this happen, to our governmental partners, our esteemed colleagues in the General Assembly, and I do want to highlight them just for a moment. This is a leap of faith in many ways. The General Assembly understood that we had a great opportunity, but they also knew that making an investment of this kind can be groundbreaking, and it was something that was timely and important to do right now, and they stepped up to the plate, and I want to thank the Speaker of the House and the Senate President and all of their colleagues in the General Assembly for helping to make this happen. Here in Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson and his team, thank you for your partnership. Thank you for helping us make this property the location of this new park. You really have been a terrific partner standing side by side in this great advancement for our city and our state. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Where are you? And Cook County President Toni Preckwinkle and her county board, they really, you sometimes, when you're thinking about something that's going to go into the city of Chicago, maybe sometimes people forget about the county or the state even. But Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle has been a leader, thinking always about advancement for our city and our state, and stepping in sometimes in the breach of where we're not able to get something done, but for her and her county board members. So thank you to Tony Preckwinkle. And not to give short shrift to anybody, but I'll just quickly say DARPA and our federal partners, indispensable, and we look forward to working with you for many, many years to come right here in this park. Quickly to the economic development apparatus, the many folks who are involved, Intersect Illinois, P33 and Brad Henderson, my staff in the governor's office, with a special thank you to our first assistant deputy governor, Claire Lindberg. And to DCEO's Chief Business Attraction Officer, Kaz Peters. And the leaders and the staff at our Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, thank you all for being involved and pushing hard to make this happen. To our world-renowned labs, our academic and research institutions that are with us, Fermilab and Argonne, University of Chicago, President Paul Alivisatos. Where are you, Paul? There he is. Yeah, thank you. The University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign Chancellor Robert Jones. Z. Scott of Chicago State. And Juan Salgado of City Colleges. This was a combined effort that took all of us not only believing in the potential of this project, but putting our time and our investment behind that belief. It is a powerful testament to all that we can achieve for Illinois, for the country, and for the world when we are all pulling in the same direction. Today, we bring ourselves a step closer to our quantum future, opening up a world of possibilities in everything from climate solutions to national security to healthcare and beyond. And in doing so, we are bringing jobs and opportunity and are laying the groundwork, the foundation for a long-term, broad-based economic prosperity for the state of Illinois. I want to thank again the leaders at PsiQuantum and express my excitement for this partnership. Thank you all for being here and helping Illinois take this quantum leap forward. And let me be the, oh, come on now. I'm a dad. Dad jokes are allowed here. And let me be the first to officially welcome everyone to the future Illinois Quantum and Microelectronics Park. With that, I want to hand it over to a true champion of progress for the people of Cook County and the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois, Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. This is a pretty great day. I just want to thank Governor Pritzker for that kind introduction and for his remarks, to acknowledge Lieutenant Governor Stratton, Mayor Brandon Johnson, President of the Senate Don Harmon, Speaker Chris Welch, Commissioner Stan Moore of our Cook County Board of Commissioners, State Representative Marcus Evans, State Representative Cam Buckner, thank you. And I think I see Alderman Peter Chico and Alderman Greg Mitchell. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I'm very grateful that all of you could join us this afternoon. This is a really historic moment. It's an occasion for which this site has long awaited, a real, tangible, transformative plan. Most importantly, it marks a historic investment in the residents of Chicago, Cook County, and the state of Illinois. I always say that a government's values are reflected in how it invests its revenues and resources. Today's historic announcement reflects a significant commitment by state and local units of government to a neighborhood, a community of color that has long been marginalized and is overdue for genuine investment. It's been more than 30 years, since U.S. Steel shuttered its doors. But as you just heard from the governor, PsiQuantum will build the first utility-scale quantum computer in the United States right here in Cook County. I'm a history teacher, so I'm going to leave it to others to explain all of what quantum computing is. I should say here, you know, about a decade ago, Bob Zimmer, who was president of the University of Chicago at the time, I used to meet with him fairly regularly. I'm actually an alum of the university. And he started talking to me about quantum computing, and I had absolutely no idea what he was talking about. But he insisted that he was going to make the University of Chicago one of the premier institutions in training folks in quantum computing. And here we are. What I'll say is in a few short years, it's predicted that quantum will soon touch all aspects of our lives. It will revolutionize the way we approach challenges, providing unprecedented insights into the mysteries of traffic jams, diseases, and even the economy. So today stands as yet another reminder that world-class technological opportunities and achievements can and will come into being, not just in Silicon Valley or in Boston, but on the southeast side of Chicago. And of course, it doesn't hurt that we're home to an extremely talented workforce, world-class educational institutions, and that we're at the nexus of industry and transportation. This investment is an example of what the U.S. needs to remain competitive in the global economy. Other countries, particularly China, have made significant investments in quantum, and we need to accelerate our efforts to catch up. To help our nation do just that and further support this groundbreaking project, Cook County is considering a new property tax incentive to drive economic development on the southeast side. And I want to thank Xochitl Flores, our Bureau Chief in Economic Development, for the good work that she and her team have done in this regard. In addition to this incentive, Cook County will commit $5 million to help establish the Quantum Park at the USX site. We'll have more to share on these incentives in the months ahead. Today represents a new era for economic development and intergovernmental collaboration and cooperation. We have long known that to a business, municipality, and county boundaries have little meaning. Workforces and supply chains don't stop at lines on a map. With this in mind, about a year and a half ago, the City of Chicago and 7 counties in northeastern Illinois came together to strategically advance the growth and competitiveness of our region. And today's announcement stands as a testament to the success of this partnership. Together, we're not just building a quantum computing hub, we're laying the foundation for a brighter future for all of the residents of our region. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to bring to the podium my friend, the mayor of the City of Chicago, Brandon Johnson.
Thank you, President Preckwinkle, for that introduction, and good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
It is truly an exciting day. Thank you all for joining us. I want to begin by expressing my profound gratitude to Jeremy and the PsiQuantum team for choosing Chicago as the anchoring future for quantum technology in this amazing city. I also want to thank the partners who have made this investment possible. The city, to our alders that are here today, the county, the state of Illinois, our community of research universities, and the entire tech and quantum ecosystem. I'm honored to have worked with you all to usher in this extraordinary investment, this investment in our city, most importantly, the investment in our people. We stand here today ready to launch the future of quantum computing, and I'm thinking about the history of this place. We stand on the grounds of the former U.S. Steel South Works site. It was in 1882 until 1992. This was a bustling steel mill that produced 1 million tons of steel each year, shaping the face of our nation through skyscrapers, trains, bridges, and cars. At its peak, it provided almost 20,000 jobs to Chicagoans. Many of those jobs were filled by European immigrants, then black migrants, who first arrived through the Great Migration, later Mexican immigrants seeking better opportunities. Each of these communities brought their rich cultural heritage to South Chicago, and through them, the steel mill shaped the identity and vibrancy of the southeast side of Chicago. But when the steel mill closed, our southeast side residents lost thousands of jobs, and with them, the main source of prosperity for this community. For the last 30 years, this land that once was so integral to the soul of Chicago has been sitting stagnant while the neighborhood around it saw continued disinvestment. The site is long overdue for transformation that ultimately is prepared to revitalize this community and reconnect the people of the southeast side of Chicago to opportunities in this thriving economy. Steel manufacturing was a premier industry of Chicago's past. With this multi-billion-dollar investment from PsiQuantum, quantum computing will be the premier industry of Chicago's future. PsiQuantum joins a growing list of quantum computing companies and assets that are coming to Chicago and the Chicagoland region. PsiQuantum will expand this industry with the quantum computing campus and truly put Chicago at its center of building the first ever commercially useful quantum computer in the U.S. right here in the greatest freaking city in the world, the city of Chicago. I know you all are waiting for the day where I actually use real vulgarity, but it won't happen until my third term, I promise you. But this investment has the potential to attract further investments, jobs, and growth to our city on top of the estimated $20 billion in economic impact that the quantum campus will make over the next 20 years. The city of Chicago was proud to support this project by providing $5 million in funds from our Housing and Economic Development Bond. The bond is my administration's signature initiative to invest in and develop our neighborhoods to achieve equity and prosperity for all of our people. To support this project, we are certainly grateful, working close coordination with President Preckwinkle and the county to implement a new property tax abatement program. This new Class 8 micro program will not just benefit PsiQuantum, but it will ensure that the entire quantum campus remains a highly competitive location for further development and future investment. And it's good for the city as well, of course, because even with this incentive in place, we're estimating that PsiQuantum will pay more than $100 million in new property taxes to the city, to the county, and all of the taxing bodies over the next 30 years. Which means I'm setting up mayor number 58 in 23 more years with another wonderful tax incentive. And critically, this investment is allowing us to confront our city's history of disinvestment, and we're doing it head on. And we're doing it by creating jobs, pathways to this industry, and ensuring that the success of this industry is felt by the people in this community. And to ensure that we get this investment right for Chicago, and to ensure that residents and young people can prosper through the new workforce development and education and environmental investments without the threat of displacement, we are working closely with our public education institutions, from Chicago Public Schools or Cook County colleges. And I'm honored to continue our partnership with PsiQuantum and the entire quantum technology ecosystem. You know, when I hosted, in closing, the PsiQuantum team here earlier this year, I made sure to welcome them personally to Chicago and to let them know that my team was going to do everything in our strength to bring them here. And so with that, I'm grateful to our Chief Operations Officer, John Robertson. He threw down, y'all. Congratulations, John. He was trained by the county, President Preckwinkle. We also have our Deputy Mayor of Infrastructure, Southside resident, Lori Lipson. She threw down too. And then finally, I'm not sure if she's here, but just to balance it out, our Deputy Mayor of Business and Economic Development, she's a West Sider, Kenya Merritt. And just, I don't want to go on a tangent, but just saying to balance out the South Side, we only needed one West Sider. It's like, y'all got a bunch of Harolds. We only need one Uncle Remus. I'm just saying, all right. Where was I? To the PsiQuantum team, know that you have the continued support of my administration as we guide this investment in our city. I'm committed to working with all of our partners, this multi-billion-dollar investment, to make sure that this community is never left behind again. But it's also to guide the future of quantum computing technology here in Chicago. Thank you all. Now I think it's actually very appropriate for our next speaker, particularly as a history teacher, that Chicago's been front and center of major industrial growth for the globe. And whether it's J.P. Morgan and the wonderful World Fair that we had here where electricity came to life, or whether it was Carnegie, where the steel industry exploded and built cities across the globe. And now we have another innovator, someone who is helping to build America and its future. Now, I'm not quite sure if he's ever been compared to Carnegie or J.P. Morgan, but please help me welcome Professor Jeremy O'Brien.
Thank you, Governor Pritzker, Mayor Johnson, President Preckwinkle, and our friends from the Illinois Legislature, Intersect Illinois, P33, World Business Chicago, and everyone else who helped make today possible. It is a real privilege to be with you all. I also want to acknowledge one of my co-founders, Pete Shadbolt, who is here today. Along with a host of my PsiQuantum colleagues, I was joking to the whole company yesterday that you can't walk down the streets of Chicago without bumping into a PsiQuantum colleague these days. My co-founders Pete, Mark, Terry and I have spent the better part of our lives chasing down these devices called quantum computers and the immense promise linked to them. We have devoted countless hours in the lab, day and night, hoping to find a path to build systems that could one day unlock this technology. A technology so revolutionary, it promises to transform entire industries and economies. Following a combined 60 years spent in university research, my three co-founders and I had uncovered a path to building a useful quantum computer and came to Silicon Valley from the UK and started PsiQuantum. In the 8 years since, our team has made tremendous progress. Now, while there is still work to do, we are thrilled to be here today to announce that we will build our first US-based utility-scale quantum computer here in Chicago at the Illinois Quantum and Microelectronics Park. Governor Pritzker and his team have long had their sights set on turning Illinois into a global leader in this emerging technology. And it has been a great honor to work with all of you over the last several months to make this quantum park a reality. We have received tremendous support from the Illinois Legislature, Cook County, and City of Chicago, and so many others over this journey, and we look forward to continuing to build this partnership. The Quantum Park brings together Illinois' best and brightest, from US national labs like Argonne and Fermi to Illinois' leading academic institutions and a burgeoning quantum ecosystem, all determined to unlock this technology's promise and propel us into the future. Today, we stand on the ground of a former US steel facility. The history of this place and the impact it had on this community, on this city, is certainly not lost on our team. At its peak, Southworks produced 1 million tons of steel a year, shaping and reinforcing the nation's bridges, trains, cars, and the iconic skylines of American cities. When we first visited this site earlier this year, Alderman Chico shared how his grandfather worked at USX. He told us how this plant was not just a place of work, but how it helped support this community and the lives within it for decades. We are humbled by the opportunity to come to this community here in Chicago in partnership with Governor Pritzker, Mayor Johnson, President Preckwinkle, and so many others to help write a new chapter for this site. It has been a long time since this plant hummed with industry. Yet, just like that US Steel facility, quantum computing will be the fulcrum of a new innovation community. It will serve as a foundation for critical industries in Illinois and across the United States, stirring a new industrial revolution. These systems will allow us to simulate, calculate, and understand the behavior of materials, chemistry, physics, and information at a level that no conventional computer will ever rival. The potential applications are vast and transformative, from developing new life-saving drugs and next-generation electric batteries and solar cells. This quantum computer will change how the world lives, works, and heals. And that machine will be built here in Chicago, a new beacon of innovation and progress. Our journey to this point has been marked by perseverance, collaboration, and an unwavering belief in the purpose of this mission. Today, we stand at the threshold of a new era, one that promises cleaner skies and seas, faster development of life-saving drugs, and advancements we can only begin to imagine. We look forward to the hard work ahead, and we look forward to doing that with all of you here. Thank you. I'll now turn over to the Senate President.
Good afternoon, all. I want to emphasize something that Governor Pritzker said. We are all so much better off when the city, the county, and the state are acting together in genuine partnership. And so, President Preckwinkle, Mayor Johnson, thank you for a new day of governmental collaboration. Today, Illinois plants a flag and reminds the world of the leadership role that we play in technology. I cannot think of a better location to send that message. This site connects the power of our past with the promise of our future. Once home to a 19th century industry, this site will develop the technology that powers the 21st and the 22nd century and provide a long overdue investment. Francis Bacon, a statesman of science, once said, "A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds." His pronouns, not mine. The opportunity we celebrate today is the product of hard work from a collection of people committed to pushing our state forward. In particular, I want to compliment Governor Pritzker, Speaker Welch, and our colleagues in the Senate who did the work to make this possible. Particularly want to recognize Senator L.G. Sims, our lead budget negotiator. The district he represents starts just a couple of blocks from here, and Senator Robert Peters, who will represent this site and is not able to be with us today, but our entire Senate caucus rallied around the governor's initiative here. Over the last few years, we've prioritized fiscal stability so that we might have a strong foundation upon which to build our state's future. And here we are. We've gone from chaos to quantum. How is that for a turnaround agenda? Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, the Speaker of the House, Chris Welch.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. President, for that amazing introduction. What a great day in Chicago, huh? Just last week, I had the honor and privilege of joining our governor and state and congressional leaders and officials from DARPA to announce that Illinois will be a home to DARPA's Quantum Proving Ground. And here we are today on Chicago's beautiful lakefront. We have the pleasure of announcing the location of the Illinois Quantum and Microelectronics Park on the former USX site. You know, What a great day it is. This represents, go ahead, that's a clap moment. This represents a $1 billion investment in Chicago, in Cook County. Thank you, PsiQuantum. Can we give them another round of applause, please? Yeah. Opportunities like this don't happen by accident. As the Senate President has said and the Governor has said, it takes teamwork. It takes collaboration. It takes us all working together to move this great state forward. And it takes the perfect ecosystem for quantum computing innovation. And that's right here in Illinois. That's right here in Chicago, right here on this site. We have top universities like the University of Chicago, Northwestern University, the entire University of Illinois system, Chicago State University. We have city colleges of Chicago and so much talent right here that we will have so many people ready to be employed at this new campus. In addition to our bright minds, we also made this possible through collaboration from our friends and colleagues in the General Assembly. $700 million was appropriated in this recent budget with the help of Leader L.G. Sims and Leader Jahan Gordon Booth in the House to make this happen here today. Can we give our budgeteers a round of applause, please? It's not easy to get caucuses to understand how to spend money. It's not easy, but we got it done. This legislature has also joined together with Governor Pritzker to create the micro incentive program that helped lead to PsiQuantum's $1 billion investment at this site to create more than 150 good-paying 21st century jobs. I'm really proud to stand here with my colleagues, especially two of my great friends and two of the leaders on our team in the House. We have to give a round of applause to Leader Cam Buckner and Leader Marcus Evans. You know, it really does take a team. It takes teamwork to make a dream work. And in the House, we certainly work as a team. We're working collaboratively with the Senate and the Governor and his great team. Two people that have not been mentioned here today that I just think are just tremendous partners who I enjoy working with every day. That's the Governor's Chief of Staff, Ann Caprera, and Deputy Governor Andy Menard. Thank you to everyone who helped bring this announcement today. Now I have the honor and privilege to introduce our next speaker from the U.S. Department of Commerce, Assistant Secretary Alejandro Castillo.
So good afternoon, everyone, and forgive me. Good afternoon. Forgive me for the reverse Beyonce effect here, but I am honored to be here in this amazing moment in time. And Governor Pritzker, I can't thank you enough because as I work with so many different governors across the country, and I have to say I am a huge fan of yours, for your vision, for your tenacity, for the relentless approach to economic growth, and it's palpable, and you can see it right here. I will take a minute. As I walked in, if you saw the sculpture that said, "A tribute to the past," and how grounding that is. I walked in with a friend who mentioned that his grandparents had worked at in this steel plant here decades ago, and how devastating it was when the plant closed. And today we should be erecting a sculpture, a tribute to the future, because that's exactly what this is all about. And I have to say, from Chicago, from the state of Illinois to the nation, this is transformation. And you are all the architects of the arc of the future of our nation, because this is not just about regional economic growth. This is about U.S. global competitiveness and our national security. But I want to make sure that we anchor this work on the technology and the potential and possibilities of that technology, but also on the inclusive economic growth. We have to make sure that it is the people who are driving that technology who are at the core of all of this work. Our nation needs to rev up all of its engines, but it can't do it if we leave people behind. And that is exactly the message of the Biden-Harris administration, investing in America through inclusive and equitable economic growth. So I want to congratulate all of the individuals who are here. Illinois is really paving the road. There are 2 tech hubs here in the state of Illinois, and it's not by accident. It's because, as I mentioned at the onset, Governor Pritzker is really relentlessly driving that innovation across the state. But I also want to say that this should have happened many, many decades ago, but it's happening now. And it's happening now because of the great work that the U.S. Department of Commerce, our state legislators, our U.S. legislators as well, with the passage of the CHIPS and Science Act. So I encourage you and invite you to really dig deep, to make sure that we're bringing everyone along, that we're making sure that workforce development is also at the epicenter of this work. But at this moment, let's just celebrate, because as was said before, this is not done through by the faint of heart. This is done through a new paradigm of how government can work with institutions of higher learning, with community colleges, with the private sector, with philanthropy. So I'm not only thrilled to be part of this history-making moment, but also humbled by the incredible work that's done. Now, I have the distinct pleasure to introduce the next speaker, John Atkinson, the board chairman of Intersect Illinois. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Hello, everybody. What a great day to be in Illinois. First and foremost, thank you, Governor Pritzker, for not only your vision around quantum, but your vision to transform the southeast side of the city of Chicago. With this generational state investment in this community, and to Speaker Welch and President Harmon for your partnership in making the Illinois Quantum and Microelectronics Park a reality today. As chairman of Intersect Illinois, I've had the privilege of collaborating with so many passionate, strategic, and visionary leaders on all things economic development for Illinois, including throughout the lead up to today's historic announcement. And a few that also need some special thanks today include Brad Henderson. Brad, the CEO of P33. As I always say, check out the big brain on Brad. Deputy Governor Andy Minar, Director Kristen Richards, First Assistant Deputy Claire Lindberg, Kaz Peters, Lisa Clement-Scott, IMA CEO Mark Densler, and Garrett, the lawyer who made things happen. And of course, Chief of Staff Ann Caprera, who makes a lot of things happen in the state. Thank you, Ann. I also want to thank Harley Johnson and Laura Appenzeller, who have been instrumental from the U of I for their considerable expertise to bring this endeavor to fruition. I also want to thank Kyle Schultz and Lisa Deacon and Michael Fosnot, the WBC team who worked tirelessly to make this happen. Thank you. To all of our stakeholders, partners, and leaders who paved the way to where we are today, I also want to thank and echo the governor's remarks. Without PsiQuantum, Jeremy, Josh, Peter, Stanton, and the team, you have been incredible to work with, open book, super collaborative, and thank you for believing in Team Illinois and this governor's vision. I also want to give a good shout out to the Will County and Lockport team. They did a great job with a very compelling site, and we think there's great things in store for that eminently buildable site in Lockport, Illinois. It's exciting to be part of Team Illinois, where leadership, vision, creativity, and execution ensures we can lead in transformational industries like quantum and microelectronics. Illinois is winning because Illinois has the right to win. Just this week, Intersect Illinois welcomed Dr. Preeti Chalsani to the team as our inaugural Chief Quantum Officer. We're grateful to have her on the team at such a critical moment in this trajectory that we have here in the state of Illinois. It's not just about the promise of quantum for solving some of our world's biggest challenges in healthcare, energy, transportation, financial services, ag, and beyond. It's also about equity and building up communities that have been left behind. In my prior role as chairman of the Illinois Board of Higher Education, and at this governor's direction, we created an equity-driven strategic plan for building a higher education ecosystem that prioritizes equity, sustainability, and growth to create a thriving Illinois. For too long, too many students, and particularly communities like the southeast side, have not had the same access or opportunity. But under this governor's leadership, with historic investments in MAP grants at our higher education institutions in this state, we have the most equity-focused higher education system in the country. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Senate President. Thank you, Speaker. Through this park, we're putting the governor's vision for equity into action by fostering major opportunities for skills development, college completion, economic growth, and access to good jobs. And I also want to thank Deputy Governor Martin Torres, who has been a tremendous partner in driving the workforce vision for this park. Illinois workforce is uniquely prepared to meet the emerging industry with the top talent in the nation when it comes to quantum-related skills like computer science, engineering, and a robust network of city colleges, community colleges, and early career centers. The Campus Workforce Development Center will provide trainees and workers of all backgrounds access to quantum microelectronics education. And it's another example of meeting the moment by strategically building programs and pipelines that reinforce our already strong workforce. This is a new chapter for Illinois, and I look forward to building on the current momentum in the months and years to come. And now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana Chancellor Jones. Chancellor?
Thank you, John, and I want to first of all thank you, Governor Pritzker, for your vision and for the opportunity to be here. I think you all would agree that it's not often that someone gets to be standing when and where history is actually being made. So I want to thank you for offering me and my colleagues from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign that rare opportunity. And I think everyone in this room today would also like to thank you for this opportunity. More critical, I also want to thank you for your vision and your leadership that has brought us to this place at this time. Under your leadership, Chicago and the state of Illinois has established itself as a driver of the quantum economy that is going to define the 21st century and beyond. And if anyone wants to argue our first place position, your announcement of the Illinois Quantum and Microelectronic Park has certainly put an emphatic end to that great debate. Folks, I have the word pivotal here, but I'm just going to make it plain. This is a big deal. So I give you some context. I ask you to think of the invention of the internet or the visible LED or the MRI, all of which traces back to the University of Illinois, but back to the great state of Illinois. So I challenge you to imagine a societal change at scale and speed, even bigger than those three examples that I gave. To put it simply, that is the future that we are ushering in today, and we should all be extremely proud. We are very excited at the possibility that will come from this collaboration between universities, the University of Illinois, and other great universities, the national labs in Chicagoland, the public and the private sector partners. But let me also take just a moment again, as others have done, to congratulate PsiQuantum for their exciting development and add how excited we are, how all of us are to be working together as partners in this great adventure. We are honored and humbled that Governor Pritzker has chosen the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and the Granger College of Engineering to manage this development and to operate the facility that will be built on this ground. And I can tell you that is a great honor, Governor. And I think you know as well, and you know we will not let you and our other partners down. There may be none in the world with a clear understanding of what this responsibility means and how this place will change the world than many of us in this room today and those of us that are on the stage and in the audience. So I just want to take a brief opportunity to ask you to join me in a very special recognition and congratulations. Some of this is repetitive. You've already heard this once, but as I said, this is a big deal, so you're going to hear it again, you're going to hear it again, and you're going to hear it again. So for my Urbana colleagues that are here today, Professor Harley Johnson, of course, who is over on the right hand, your right-hand side, Harley. Harley has been designated as the overall project lead, and so we're very, very proud of the time and sacrifice and innovation that he has brought and will be bringing to the table. Laura Appenzeller, who was mentioned earlier. Laura, I saw you out there somewhere. She's got finally. Brian DeMarco, the other innovative. I think Brian is right here. Brian, thank you. And of course, you can't have a great college without a great dean. So Dean Rashid Bashir, thank you for your amazing leadership. And the other list is very long, so I'm just going to roll it out. We certainly want to thank others from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, the University of Illinois system, and particularly his board of trustees. And I thought I saw Don Edwards here a moment ago. Perhaps he had to leave, but I think most of you, Don, there he is. Don, thank you, your support and your amazing leadership as board chair, and your colleagues have always been very, very supportive of the University of Illinois system. And thank you for all that you've done to also make this day possible. And of course, from the governor's office, DCEO, P33, PsiQuantum, and so many others, folks, that have tirelessly given of their time and their talent to help transform Governor Pritzker's vision of the quantum future into a reality for Chicago and the entire state of Illinois. So I just want to close, Governor, but once again, thanking you for your leadership, your trust, and your confidence, and thank you for not only having a vision, but creating a structure that has allowed that vision to come into play at scale. And that's the entity that some of you may have heard about over the last few months called Innovate Illinois. Again, folks, that was a big deal that has led to this big deal that's going to lead to others. This is just first of many announcements like this. And I don't want to jinx it or anything, but it's my prediction this is kind of the beginning of many such big announcements. Why? Because perhaps for the first time in the history of the state of Illinois, we have alignment across all sectors. And that's how you win, and that's how you create this grand opportunity to find solutions to grand challenges in our society. And we all know all of that is going to be running directly through the state of Illinois and through the city of Chicago, and we're just humbled and proud to be a small part of it. Thank you. Oh. I almost made a big mistake there. It is certainly my great pleasure and my great honor to introduce someone that is not just a friend and a colleague, but is one of the key partners with the University of Illinois in creating the seamless partnerships across higher education institutions in the state. Yeah, we compete when we have to, but we collaborate because we must. And that is the president of the University of Chicago, Paul Olivas-Santos. Paul, thank you.
Well, hello. And today, as the president of the University of Chicago, I can tell you about 3 happinesses that I'm feeling. Okay. The first is the happiness of the geeks. It's the University of Chicago. And you are an honorary geek. The governor has come down to the double basement, and there's the students down there trying to tweak things and to get those quantum systems to behave, to be controlled, to bring something which inherently tends to be very hard to control and to ultimately be able to do so. So for a geek, this is a true happiness. And so also, there's the deep, deep happiness that PsiQuantum is coming. Because if you are a geek, if you are a geek, you are just in love with the PsiQuantum approach to things. It is really special. And they have solved, using photons, the problem of how to bring many, many, many quantum systems together, which is what's essential to make a true quantum computer of scale. So there's an enormous happiness to that. The second happiness is the happiness of being a partner with all of the ecosystem that's been described, all of the different parts of government that have come together today that you have heard from, the nonprofits that have contributed so beautifully, the company that has come in. But also I want to speak to the partnership of the research institutions and how warm and how strong it is. We're happy to be partners with the University of Illinois system, with Northwestern, with the 2 national laboratories, Argonne and Fermilab. All of us together contributing will make something that is essential. In fact, when economists study healthy innovation ecosystems, they find that at the core of them is always a combination of great research institutions and universities. So by working together, we can do this. We can do this with PsiQuantum, and we can do even more to build out the ecosystem that is around us. The third happiness is the happiness of what's happening here on this site, on the south side of Chicago. For us, it's a great moment. We are so happy to be able to contribute to a project that will bring knowledge and jobs and a healthier life to the community that is around us. And so that's the third happiness, and we're just overjoyed to be able to do that. Finally, I'm really glad to be able to introduce our close partner and a good friend, the head of the city colleges of this amazing city, Juan Salgado. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul, for your tremendous leadership. And I just want to say on behalf of the 66,000 students across our 7 colleges, I want to thank you, Governor Pritzker, for your vision and your conviction to make Illinois the world's leader in quantum. We're the world's leader in quantum. Right here on the southeast side of Chicago, I want to thank President Preckwinkle and Mayor Brandon Johnson for making sure that Chicago benefits from the abundant economic opportunities generated by quantum, including right here on this beloved southeast side, south side of Chicago. And to all of you, I want to thank you for putting community colleges front and center in this work, because doing so allows us to address systemic barriers that have historically limited access to education and training, and particularly in new industries. We are here at the front end because we have leadership that believes our communities and the beloved people in these communities ought to be, because of their talent, their creativity, their ingenuity, at the front end, at the beginning, at the groundbreakings of this wonderful site. So I want to thank you, because this investment means good jobs with career paths in fast-growing fields will be coming here to our city and our communities. And I want you to know City Colleges stands ready to keep doing what we do best, ready to work with employers to prepare Chicagoans with the skills to access and succeed in quantum careers, ready to partner with the state, the city, with universities, with our public schools, with employers, to make sure Chicagoans from across our great city benefit from the vast economic returns from quantum. And in doing so, lead themselves, and very importantly, their families, into the promise of America and the reality of upward mobility. So thank you, and with that, I'd like to bring to the stage Kurt Bailey, leader, CEO with Related Midwest.
All right, we're getting to the end, folks. I want to thank the governor for delivering this day, the weather. I think he's responsible for that. And I was recalling our first meeting with PsiQuantum. I want to thank them. They're all from California. It was January. It was 20 degrees out here. There was ice everywhere. And I kept saying, no, you don't understand how beautiful this site is going to be. And usually when a developer tells you something that people look at you, don't believe you. But thank you for your faith, Peter. I appreciate it. It's so fitting that this site produced the steel that built our city. And now the same land is poised to house the next generation quantum campus to help propel our great city into the future. We're so happy to be joined by Governor Pritzker and his staff, who have been tireless advocates for this project, and Mayor Johnson, whose commitment to fostering equitable and sustainable development is shared by our team. There are a number of people that I want to thank that were really pushed on this project. Clayco, Sean Clark, Bob Clark, and the unstoppable Michael Fosnack, the reason we're here. John Atkinson, who I think has 4 jobs, but he's doing a really good job on the ones that I'm involved with him on, incredible. And Cass Peters, who, so many texts and calls from him after 11 o'clock at night over the last several weeks. You know how focused he is. And then Kyle Schultz at World Business, an amazing job. Josh Richmond, who is living now in Chicago, away from his family to get this with PsiQuantum. Thank you. And our alderman, who I can't wait to work with. So Chico and Mitchell, thank you so much. Look forward to getting going on this project. At the city, Kenya Merritt and John Roberson, thank you so much for your partnership. There's so much more to do. I look forward to it. And then our team at Related Midwest. Thank you so much to everyone who's here for putting this together. Tricia Van Horn in a couple of days. Pretty good job. Thank you. And my partner, Jeff Blau, who flew in from New York to see this event. Thank you. Innovation is critical at Related. And that innovation kind of runs the gamut from the passing landmark affordable housing legislation, with the help of everyone up here on the stage, thank you, that has now led to thousands of affordable units being built in downtown Chicago and across Illinois. And it also runs to one of our newest focuses, which is renewable energy production. And actually, we are on this site not because of PsiQuantum, we're very happy with that, but we were trying to build a wind farm in the middle of Lake Michigan to help bring sustainable renewable energy to Chicago and Illinois. And how great would it be if we can build that wind farm where we can use sustainable renewable energy to power PsiQuantum? So we will stay focused on that. Governor, we'll look forward to working with you on that as well. And then as I end this, I would ask you as you're leaving to take one last look around the site at Chicago's past. Because when you come back out here in 24 months, you're going to see Chicago and the country's future. Thank you very much. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton.
Well, what an exciting day. Good afternoon, and thank you, Kurt, for that warm introduction, and thank you for your partnership. I am Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, and I am thrilled to stand alongside elected officials from every level of government who have already been acknowledged, research and academic partners, nonprofits, business leaders, and of course, the entire team at PsiQuantum. So many extraordinary leaders and thought partners here for this exciting announcement. Let me be the first to admit that, like so many across our state and quite frankly in our world, I'm still learning about quantum computing. There are words that I've never really said before, terms like qubits and error connection and subatomic scale. But here's what I do know for sure. When I joined then gubernatorial candidate J.B. Pritzker on his journey to lead our state, we implored Illinoisans to think big. And every day since taking office, Governor Pritzker wakes up excited to bring that same mindset of innovative, visionary, and forward-thinking leadership to better the lives of all Illinoisans. Today's announcement is just one of the best examples of why I'm grateful, not just as Lieutenant Governor, but simply as a lifelong Illinoisan, that he is the chief executive leading our state. In partnership with Cook County, the city of Chicago, and of course, our legislative leaders, Speaker Welch and President Harmon, and members of the Illinois General Assembly who helped shepherd through the $700 million investment in our FY25 budget, this quantum park right here on the southeast side of Chicago is not only a game changer for this region, it will alter so many industries for the better while solidifying Illinois' rightful presence as a global player in the quantum space. You know, throughout history, there have been variations of a proverb that essentially says, we often plant seeds for trees, despite knowing that we will never have the opportunity to sit under their shade. It's so true. Governor Pritzker is planting seeds by building an ecosystem for quantum in Illinois, and we've already seen the immediate benefits. But what I'm especially excited about is the swift advancements and complex challenges that will be solved, the jobs that will be created, benefiting our children and our children's children and generations to come. Solving problems that we all deeply care about, like food insecurity and protecting our planet, faster development of gene therapies and medicines to cure our loved ones from ailments, cybersecurity and the safe transfer of data and protecting us from crippling cyber attacks, and of course, strengthening our supply chain and making manufacturing and production more efficient for our people. All I'm saying is that this is what thinking big can do. And we're doing it with equity right at the center. So, Governor, thank you for your foresight and for always leading from a heart that is motivated by doing what's best for the people of Illinois. And thanks to all who collaborated to make this day happen. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to bring back Governor Pritzker to take on-topic questions from the media. Thank you.
All right, happy to take any questions from members. We've been here a while, so we won't go on too long, but questions from members of the media that are on topic, as the Lieutenant Governor said. Yes, sir. Well, I love it. Are you naming it officially the Quantum Lakefront? I like that. I like that.
It's got to go through
Yeah,
city council.
maybe it'll be this. Yeah, it's got to go through. Well, I think we could call it the PsiQuantum Lakefront. How about that? I always enjoy being lobbied from the podium. It's a topic the General Assembly, has, there have been bills that have been introduced and they'll be debated, no doubt, and I'm sure that we'll be talking about it going forward.
Governor, I know you had mentioned
Yes.
there's 150 jobs being fled from PsiQuantum. Do you have a total of permanent and temporary jobs that will be created as a result of this project?
Well, we anticipate that there'll be growth, of course, by PsiQuantum over time, but also this is a campus, a park that's going to host a number of companies. Of course, we'll have DARPA personnel here and the companies that will come here to be part of their endeavors. So I don't want to try to guess how many there will be, but I will tell you that the quantum industry is growing quite fast. There is an opportunity for thousands of jobs right here and tens of thousands of jobs across the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois, maybe more, and especially if we have a quantum lakefront Silicon Valley opportunity, and I think that is what this is. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so thank you for asking that, because this is something, by the way, that's being talked about all across the nation, how to prepare for the quantum future in our education system. This isn't just an issue for Illinois or for Chicago. It's really one that I give President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris genuinely the credit for thinking forward about this. So one of the reasons that you saw Juan Salgado here talking is because we're genuinely developing the programs that will be necessary for people to go through in order to have certain kinds of jobs in the quantum economy. Again, we're thinking a couple of years hence, 5 and 10 years hence. And so this is all in development. I don't want to make you a promise now about how many degree programs there will be. I can tell you, though, that anybody that's in this industry knows that there is a lot of, we've got to bring this into the high schools. We've got to bring this into grammar schools. And this is going to be a long-term endeavor, so stay tuned. We're going to make those investments. Yes? Well, that's a great question. Let me actually hearken back to something that was said earlier. I think it was President Preckwinkle that referenced Bob Zimmer, who was the former president of the University of Chicago. I think the first time I had a conversation about quantum was with Bob Zimmer. And he came to talk to me first when I was running for governor and then when I became governor about the importance of making Chicago the home of the future of quantum development. I mean, he already had that vision, and I want to give him the credit. He's no longer with us, but I want you to know his memory lives on, especially in all of what's happening today. So that was the first moment. I think the confidence that I gained in it was in discussing with people who were living and breathing it, scientists and investors who were looking, but the opportunity going forward, right? There were lots of investors, you may remember, in the very early days of the internet who did very well because they anticipated what the internet would turn into. And there are investors today, and actually 5-7 years ago, who were anticipating what quantum might do for the economy and the investment opportunities for them. So I talked to a number of them, and honestly, I was convinced by what I heard both on the science end and the investment professionals that this is something that Chicago can lead on, will lead on, and will bring great, I think, wealth and opportunity to people who live right here in the city. Well, I think a lot of the references to climate, for example, you heard that in some of the remarks, and the environment, have to do with the problems that quantum can help solve. Because there are a number of serious challenges thinking about the oceans, for example, that we just don't have. I mean, there's so much analysis that needs to get done, and even with supercomputers that we have today, unable to reach the conclusions that we want to figure out how we can better manage our ecosystem. So complex. So that's a problem that quantum can help solve. But you're also raising the question of, we're on a site that has, because USX was here, left residue of that that is, waste that needs to be removed. So that's something that, we've talked to Related about, and of course with the experts in environmental remediation about. It's something we've built into the investment that we're making in this project. And so that cleanup will occur as a result of a commitment that's being made here. And it's not just the commitment by PsiQuantum, although they were a tipping point. I want to give them credit for this. We had kind of a vision for the park, but we needed, to have early adopters, people who would say, okay, instead of if we build it, they will come. Having people say, we're actually going to come if you build it. And so PsiQuantum was kind of a tipping point for us, and I give them credit for that. But that is a tipping point that's allowing us to clean up the site that this park is going to exist on. Yes, sir. Well, I can't speak. I haven't heard that before. I can tell you there is quite a lot of community benefit that is already being invested in as a result of the commitment that's being made here. The jobs, the cleanup of the site itself, the investment of dollars that are going to, I think, provide great opportunity for the surrounding community, small businesses, residential. Right, we've got right here small business, and I must say, the opportunity, I think, is enormous. We need to see the development, though, of this project, and it isn't one that's sort of an automatic, just to be clear, there's no automatic win here, right? I mean, we all know that there is a great opportunity, but we all have to kind of shoulder to the wheel to make sure that this park is a huge success, and we're going to do that, and I think the momentum that's gathered here is going to help us do that. Oh gosh, maybe I should turn it over to either, Kurt or to John. Yeah.
Thanks, Governor. The timeline is as fast as possible. Well, we say that a lot, but I think if you see the collective energy up here, we'll begin doing drawings on the building in a month or so. We'll move through the entitlement process. I think we are looking at having the facility up and running in 2027, which is about as fast as you can go. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.